So I wanted to quickly share my experience fixing my Wanptek KPS305D benchtop power supply. I've had this power supply for a little over 6 months now, and for the projects that I work on and my skill level, it's been just fine. It was cheap, and that was the biggest thing for me when I decided on purchasing it. So I've been using it to charge lead acid batteries, and the last thing I was doing was charging some lithium-ion batteries out of an old laptop power pack or battery pack. And so I had it sitting on my bench. I think it was set at about 4.2 volts. The battery had already reached that voltage, and so it was at 0 amps. And I was just working on my computer, and I heard a little poof come out of the power supply. And so I look over, and the display was blank. There was no fan noise. I checked the fuses, checked the plugs, all that stuff, and no luck. So since it's so cheap and I'd probably have to send it back to China to get it replaced, I decided just to go ahead and open it up and see if I could try to figure anything out and fix it myself. So if you open this thing up, this is what you're going to find. Let me shut it off. Unplug it. So I don't really know what I'm looking at here, but I can figure out some basic things. Over here in the corner, right there, is a voltage regulator, and it wasn't receiving any voltage and obviously wasn't outputting any voltage. I couldn't find anything on the board that looked like it had been burnt or let out the magic smoke. So I started poking around with a voltmeter, checking resistors, seeing if I could find any useful output voltages and trace those. And I didn't have much luck getting past this little guy. There really wasn't. I got I think it was 330 volts DC, kind of measured on these 4 pins against one of these other traces, which I believe is just the rectified AC voltage coming out of this. I think it's a triac feeding this little chip. So that was kind of the last place I could find any useful voltage, and figured, well, maybe that's failing to do whatever it's supposed to do. I went and looked it up on Mouser, and it turns out it's this Power Integrations chip TNY277GN, and it's a pretty, as far as I can tell, it's a critical part of the power supply, and kind of everything works off of the voltage that comes out of that potentially. So for the hell of it, since it was all of $1.41, I went ahead and bought 2 of them and some solar wick, and paid about $10 to get all that shipped to my house. Since I didn't have anything else to try, I gave that a shot, and as luck would have it, replacing that seems to have done the trick. So I will say it's kind of cramped in there to use a soldering iron, so I ended up just using some side cutters. This is the old chip, can't really see it that well, but I used some side cutters to cut off the leads on it, and then pull them off the top of the board before soldering on the new chip. So once I did that, it fired back up. I got a display again on the front. Oops, got to plug it in first. The fan turns on, and it seems like everything's back to normal. So that, for $1.41 for that part. There we go. Come on, TNY277GN. I'd say that was worth it for fixing it yourself if you ever have that problem. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. We'll see how long it lasts this time around. Hopefully longer, but worst case, hopefully it's just another $1.41 to replace that part and get back up and running. So I hope this was helpful for someone. Thanks. Bye.